Hey, this is Learn Copywriting, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to shoot a quick video on editing this sales letter from Mr. Alex Mandossian. It is about a productivity course, and what's funny is so these guys, they hire these big name copywriters, and maybe he wrote this himself, but they hire these big name copywriters and they make just these super basic mistakes, right? But they do a good enough job to actually sell the product, which is really inspiring to me, because as somebody who is a workaday copywriter who takes on clients, writes sales letters just like these, and who's constantly trying to figure out how to be better, how to improve, how do I write better, how do I write better sales letters myself, um, you know, it's somewhat comforting to know that there is at least a little room for error. But the way that I found myself getting better and better and better and better is by looking at other people's stuff, editing it, looking at my stuff, editing it, and testing it. And obviously, I'll never be able to test this letter because, one, I'm not an affiliate, and two, even if I were an affiliate, I couldn't edit the letter. Um, but I know enough now that I can safely say a few things about this letter, and I've copied and pasted it into pages here. But I want to talk about a couple things. So the first thing is this headline. Headline is fine, right? An open letter to entrepreneurs and success oriented people who want more time in their day. Um, do I feel like he's explaining a benefit? Yes. Uh, the one actually maybe this headline isn't super great. Um, if I were to rewrite this headline, I would either pick entrepreneurs or I would pick success oriented people, right? I wouldn't pick both. I'd go an open letter to entrepreneurs who want more time in their day, because the more specific you are with your target market, the more relevant it feels to your target market. If I said to moms and dads who have kids or may someday want kids, it's like, well, who are you really talking to? Um, but if I were to edit this, I'd strictly pick entrepreneurs. Alex Mandossian, I think, if I remember correctly, I'm pretty sure he does a lot of make money online stuff. It's been a while. I haven't followed Alex Mandossian for quite a while. He kind of fell off the radar for me personally, but whatever. Anyway, that's how I would fix that headline. Then the subhead, discover 63 time proven strategies to get more done faster, easier, and with far less human effort. I would actually take this human part out, right? Uh, when he's saying human effort, he's talking about the actual task at hand, right? Whereas if you're going to double down on something, right? So if I'm going to get more done faster, easier, and with far less effort, that's far more appealing than thinking about, oh, my human effort or the tasks or whatever it may be. If you take that word out specifically, what ends up happening is you think about getting things done, whatever they may be, whatever abstract thing that comes to mind when you talk about get more done, faster, easier, with far less effort. A, it's a lot more appealing, and B, it's so much more clear, right? And then he goes into, dear friend, I know you're busy, so I'll get right to the point. In fact, that's why I'm writing. This this I do have an issue with. This is what is called warning the prospect. So when you're going to try and persuade somebody, you don't want to warn them that you're about to persuade them. You don't want to warn them that you're about to make a sale. You don't want to warn them that you're about to tell them about something. You don't want to give them any indication as to whether you're going to sell them something, or you're going to try and influence them, right? And this is what I call burying the lead. Now, granted, it's only two sentences. I know people who bury the lead and they don't get to the point for like 2 or 3 pages, right? But if you just delete that, It becomes far more clear. Dear friend, if you're like most entrepreneurs, there are days when you'd give your right arm just to have a few extra hours in your day. I know how you feel because I used to be in the same boat. All right. So that's how he's starting this out. Um, this is gonna get like stupid for a second. I know how you feel, comma, because I used to be in the same boat. Why didn't he just do that? Right? I know how you feel because I used to be in the same boat. Right? Why would you want your prospect to stop there and to pause there, right? So I'd get rid of that. Right. Early in my career, I worked the crazy hours that all the experts tell you to invest, 50, 60, even 70 hours a week. Um, this can be shortened down and be more impactful for it. Early in my career, I worked crazy hours. Sometimes 50, 60, or even 70 hours a week. Right? It just feels better, right? Early in my career, I worked crazy hours, sometimes 50, 60, or even 70 hours a week. When my son Gabriel was born, though, things changed. All right. All right, we can clean this up easily. When my son was born, things changed. Now, when you find like something is behind a parentheses, like if you put conditionals, so like I don't know if you know what a conditional is. A conditional is when you're talking about something in a certain context. And you always want to put the context first, which is why commas are really great. Early in my career, I worked crazy hours, right? So let's really chunk this down. Like let's really get into this. So this first sentence right here, right? He's talking literally about today, like today. He is talking about the present tense. I know how you feel today because I used to be in the same boat, yesterday or sometime in the past. And then he talks about the past. Early in my career, I worked crazy hours, sometimes 50, 60, or even 70 hours a week. When my son was born, things changed. Past, right? Here's the thing, right? What is he trying to do here? He's trying to introduce a problem. So what I'd say is, however, when my son was born, and then that's when I would blend these two sentences together. However, when my son was born, my wife and I agreed. Let me just copy and paste this. If I was going to be away from my family, it had better be worth it. And this is kind of weird. It's kind of weird wording. It should say, if I was going to be away from my family, it better be worth it, right? And now we've closed this, right? So now we're done talking about the past. We're coming right back into the present. You can relate, right? Well, let me tell you, it wasn't. This is kind of where I get confused, right? So like when I start decoding copy, this is when I get kind of mad. Well, let me tell you, it wasn't. What wasn't? What wasn't? Like, what are you even talking about? What I think he's talking about was if spending time away from his family better be worth it, right? So if you're going to go from the present to the past, right, really quick, if you're going to go from past to present to past, like, you should just cut it out, right? So let me start this over again. If you're like most entrepreneurs, there are days when you'd give your right arm just to have a few extra hours in your day. I know how you feel because I used to be in the same boat. Early in my career, I worked crazy hours, sometimes 50, 60, or even 70 hours a week. However, when my son was born, my wife and I agreed if I was going to be away from my family, it better be worth it. Well, let me tell you, it wasn't. The months when I sank, oh, sunk, it sank. The months when I sank an extra 20 hours a week into the business, I didn't always see a corresponding increase in my revenue. Okay. I'll fix this. 1 second. The months when I sank, okay, you could just get rid of this. When I sank an extra 20 hours a week into the business, I didn't see a return. I didn't see an increase in revenue. That was a huge red flag. I knew there had to be an inefficiency in how I was spending my time. I would rewrite that whole sentence. So I would say, I didn't see an increase in revenue, and I was curious as to why. I knew there had to be an inefficiency yeah, that's better. And I was curious as to why. I knew there had to be a roadblock holding me back from success, right? That spurred my mission to be more productive. Or as I like to say, get more done faster, better, easier. Get more done faster and easier. Yeah, you always want to, if you're going to make a list, you always want to kind of limit it to 3. Get more done faster and easier. Right? So you could have done that. Get more done faster and easier. So anyway, I'm kind of droning on, but there was a lot of stuff packed into this little intro. And so this is what I think should have been the intro, and I think is a lot cleaner, and I'll read it to you. An open letter to entrepreneurs who want more time in their day. Discover 63 time-proven strategies to get more done faster, easier, and with far less effort. Dear friend, if you're like most entrepreneurs, there are days when you'd give your right arm just to have a few extra hours in your day. I know how you feel because I used to be in the same boat. Early in my career, I worked crazy hours, sometimes 50, 60, or even 70 hours a week. However, when my son was born, my wife and I agreed if I was going to be away from my family, it better be worth it. Well, let me tell you, it wasn't. When I sank an extra 20 hours a week into the business, I didn't see an increase in revenue, and I was curious as to why. I knew there had to be a roadblock holding me back from success. That spurred my mission to be more productive, or as I like to say, get more done faster and easier. You see how much cleaner that is? It just feels better. It's easier to picture. There's less roadblocks. There's less going on. I could even clean this up even a little bit more, right? So I could actually put the commentary in parentheses. So sometimes 50, 60, or even 70 hours a week. What this commentary is doing is that it isn't adding anything relevant, but it is shaping the previous statement, right? So early in my career, I worked crazy hours. Well, nobody really knows what crazy hours are. So when you make clarifying statements, like sometimes 50, 60, or even 70 hours a week, I'm clarifying crazy hours, right? Now you could say early in my career, I worked 50, 60, or even 70 hours a week. You totally could say that, and that is a judicial thing that you could make, right? But basically what your brain reads is I worked crazy hours. However, when my son was born, my wife and I agreed if I was going to be away from my family, it better be worth it, right? Well, let me tell you, it wasn't. When I sank an extra 20 hours a week into the business, I didn't see an increase in revenue, and I was curious as to why. I knew there had to be a roadblock holding me back from success. That spurred my mission to be more productive, or as I like to say, get more done faster and easier. That's, to me, a far stronger intro. And that's pretty much how I would clean it up. I'm going to go through and keep cleaning this up, so if you want to keep watching, you can. 1 second.